Hey, I'm Natalie Kalbach, and I'm here with Carolyn Dube, my super dear friend who has been with us for Creative Jumpstart so many times already. How many times, Carolyn?
You want me to count? Let me see. Um,
I think this might be your fourth time.
that sounds about right. We're still on one hand, so I'm okay.
Right.
I can count that high.
So I love Carolyn. She's always, if you don't know her, she's a wonderful artist. She does super fun stuff. She always says "oops." Oh wait, how does it go?
Outstanding opportunities presenting suddenly.
Right, exactly. So she takes whatever happens and she turns it around and makes something awesome out of it. And I just love her spirit. It's always so uplifting when I talk to her. I can be in the grumpiest mood and she makes me happy. So, Carolyn, so happy to have you back. Hey, how are you?
I am fantastic, and it is always such a treat for me to get to chat with you too. It's one day we're gonna have those Star Trek transporters and be able to just pop over and visit people, but until then, thankfully we have the internet.
That's so true, especially now, right? So,
Yes.
Carolyn, tell us a little bit about you and your art endeavors.
So, I'm incredibly self-taught, and I don't like rules, and I don't like being told what to do. So it's pretty much somebody asked me like, "What kind of art do you do?" And I'm like, "Whatever I feel like." So I will use anything. I love playing with art supplies. I love following an impulse. Some of them go places really ugly. Some of them work out really well. But it's really about the process more than anything for me. I love the tactile feel of stuff in my hands, um, and of course color. Oh, bright, vibrant, taste the rainbow kind of color. So it could be an art journal, it could be a canvas, it could be a scrapbook, it could be like give me anything, whatever I'm in the mood to do. It's just about really playing with those art supplies.
It's true, and I feel like there's besides the showing people how to use supplies and how to make things. I think you really teach people how to enjoy the process and learn to let go of perfectionism and just go with that. It's like a what now machine. I don't know if you call it that thing. When you have these machines where the ball runs down and then what
Mm-hmm.
are they called in English? I don't know.
I have no idea, but I know
But
what
yeah,
you're
it's kind
talking.
of like that. Like let's try this. And when the ball rolls here and it bumps into something, let's deal with that problem then. And I love it's a great philosophy to actually not just in art, also in life. Like, not everything has to be planned out. You can also enjoy the ride, right?
Yes, and again, my kids so wish I'd figured that out a lot sooner because it would have been a lot easier for them because there was a time I was wound so tightly because you just want, you want things to go well, you want things to work out, and all of that. Just and the more I would like hang on, it was like a Chinese. Remember those we used to call them
Oh
Chinese fingers.
yeah,
Put your finger in it and pull.
yeah.
Um, and I don't know if that's the proper name for it anymore, what they're called or that kind of thing, but that's kind of what the stress and perfectionism was like. The more that you tried to make it right, the less right it was, the worse
Right.
it got. And so I finally figured out how to adjust and roll with it, and life's been much better since I figured that out.
Yeah, I definitely have to say that I think that making art has made me a little bit less, uptight, believe it or not. Well, I'm German. How can I help myself, right? So, you do a lot of work in your art journal. Is that what you do every day?
I don't do anything specifically every day. My goal is to get an art supply in my hand every day,
Mm-hmm.
and whatever's nearby or whatever I'm in the mood for. So, like, is it a piece of cardboard? Like, I love working on cardboard, art journal, canvas, and I have a zillion things in progress. I have absolutely no
Hmm.
problem starting something and stopping. And I think that totally goes back to when I was a kid and I was always told when you start it, you have to finish it. And I'm like, no, I don't. I don't. So I love to leave things in process. You step away from it. Sometimes because it just needs to dry. It's just
Yeah.
soaking wet. It's gonna dry. Or it's just okay. I've had my fun with it. I'm gonna set it aside, and when the time's right, I'll come back to it. And because the bottom line is, our art stuff is not like mayonnaise. It's not gonna go bad. It
Right.
doesn't. It doesn't have a shelf life.
Right.
It'll be waiting. So I actually, somebody asked me about this recently. I don't think I've ever actually finished an actual art journal.
Huh.
Everything is in process. It's never finished. There's always something more. Like nothing ever feels finished to me until I part with it. Like then I'm done because I can't do anything more. But I'll come back to anything. It's nothing sacred. I'll paint over something. I'm like, no, I don't like this anymore. I loved it then. I don't now. It's whatever mood strikes me, whatever's calling to me. So it's not really an art journal every day, although you see a lot of those in my videos and a lot of that stuff ends up out there. But it really comes down to just whatever's there, and they're easy to keep on a shelf and grab down. So
Definitely, yeah. So when I know you, and we have talked about that in other no, that's not it yet, but you're plugging it in. Sorry.
Yes, I looked at I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm in the red. It's not plugged in. I thought it was. I'm like, sorry, everybody.
No
I'm like,
worries.
oh my, that panic of, as you try to get your camera right, like, why is it red? Red bad. Okay, now we're plugged in. We're in the green. We're safe again.
So I know that from our conversations that we had before, but also people that follow you on Instagram, they know that there's nothing safe in your house from being colored in, right? So I don't think I'm telling a secret at now when this is aired, but you're actually in the middle of moving to a new space, and when the interview comes out, you're already in your new home. But I know that you created a lot of things in your house. You painted it. So my question is like picnic tables, coffee tables, you did your bathroom, right? Is there anything off limits, and is there anything off limits in your new home, do you think?
So as much as people think I kind of go crazy with stuff, I'm not nuts. So it's things that aren't destroyed. Like, the granite countertop, I'm not painting that. No,
Right.
I'm not painting the window paint. Like,
Right.
I'm not going to but if it's a matter of just it's a coat of paint, I don't care.
Right.
Like, I will do anything if it's a coat of paint. When you start talking about things where we're talking a little more permanence, I think a little bit more about it. But, any kind of, like, one of the things I'm excited about is we have a whole bunch of furniture from this house that isn't going to work in the new house, which means I get to experiment on it. Because it's, I love the shape of it, but it no longer really goes with the next house because this is kind of our next phase kind of thing. And so that gives me a lot of freedom for this furniture that's going to be in the garage where I can just let loose and see where it ends up going. So in my mind right now, it's probably going to be furniture first and foremost that will end up getting painted. I know, like, we don't have, we don't really have headboards for any of the beds. Or I should say, like, we got these little IKEA things, like these little, like, they don't count as a headboard. So there's room for something crazy and different ideas kind of hit me, and I'm like, well, so those are some places where I'll really let loose. But in terms of if it's something permanent, no. I'd love to paint ceilings, except I don't want to paint a ceiling.
Yeah.
So, I love the idea of a painted ceiling, but also I don't want to get up there and paint the ceiling.
Right.
So there's that whole limitation thing. Since, now that got me fat, who knows? But no, nothing, if it's just paint, nothing's off limits. If it's something that makes it, like, painting floor is much more interesting. Like, I'm not going to paint over the new floor. Like, I'm not going to do that.
Right.
Because that's just kind of crazy. But everything else, yeah, it would be, it's all possible. So, yeah, I don't know exactly. There were a lot of things that we had to get rid of at our current house before the new one. Like, I had this big tree that had all stuff. And I love that tree, except you literally couldn't get it out the doors. I'm just like, okay. And we had a house showing, and we had to get it out. And I'm just like, and so certain things we had to let go of. But that also creates the opportunity for me to find something else that will crop up that will end up being used. I just don't know what it is yet, but definitely as crazy things come into my world, I will be sharing them.
Yeah, I can't wait. Is there anything that you are like, because I know how it is, well, this is your house right now, and you said you had to change some things for house showings and stuff. And I remember, so we had a staircase to my studio where I actually had, it wasn't actually that bad. I had put on every single step a stenciled word, and it was, you have to take the steps to get to success, something like that. And it was funny because I was like, oh, that's easy. I'm going to paint it over in white, and no one will ever know that I was here. And well, besides that, I had to paint it like 4 times because it was black stenciled paint. And I was like, okay, this might be a lesson for me that if I want to stencil some stairs again, I will maybe not take the most prominent paint that will never be hidden again. Is there anything that you have now done that you had to do for the showing where you're like, you know what, if I do it again, I would do it in a different way, using different paint, or you're like, I don't care, I would do it, something where you're like, that wasn't a good idea, actually?
So, one thing we found interesting when we painted over, we had to take the rainbow stairs and paint over them and make them brown. What we found interesting is dried paint, house paint, kind of reactivated it. I'm like, so the blacks, I'm like, how was the black smearing? Like, it wasn't just showing through, it actually, like, woke it. I'm like, that was dry paint. So on that one, that was just a little surprise for us. But probably in the bathroom, because it was needed to be renovated. And it had this wallpaper that was starting to peel up. And I thought, I'm going to leave the wallpaper on there and just go nuts all over it. And so in that aspect of it, that didn't create any problem because we had to peel the wallpaper off anyway, and it all came off. The part where it's going to get interesting is in my actual main art studio area. Is as I started pulling away, we got rid of the countertops, and I'm like, oh, look at the line of spray inks. Oh, how do I stain block some of this stuff that can never be stain blocked?
Yeah.
So that kind of stuff. I think about some of like the dilution sprays that they bleed through things.
Yeah.
Through things.
Yeah.
And so in that sense, probably in the next one, I'm going to be a little more cognizant of that. That is a potentially permanent thing. So I've got to. That's one of the things we need to figure out still.
Right.
So it's that kind of thing of the very bleeding things I would keep off of the walls.
Yeah.
That's really. Everything else it's just more layers of paint, and you get the paint with the primer in it, and you do the stain blockers, and when in doubt, go darker. Always darker colors. Darker covers better.
So in 30 years, we will see Carolyn for the, 40th Creative Jumpstart sitting in this like totally black painted studio, right?
Oh, now it would be so much fun to use the black paint. That stuff that supposedly doesn't let any light, doesn't reflect, like truly that black paint that I've read about. Like, now that would be fun. Oh, now I want some of that.
Oh boy, we're in for a treat soon. So Carolyn, I asked, because the theme for our 10th anniversary edition of Creative Jumpstart is storyteller, and I let you in on a secret, guys. So it is. We are recording this now. It's the end of August. No, yes, it's the end of August. I can't believe it. Mm-hmm. And you will see this probably in December. And there's still 2 more months before our artists have to send me all their videos. And guess who was first? And I've already seen it. She has been called overachiever by some of our other artists. I think they're just jealous because they are like, oh my God, I'm panicking. The pressure. So Carolyn has been putting a lot of pressure to our other artists out there because she's already done, which it is because she has to move and she had to get things out of her way. But you did it already. Do you want to give us a teeny tiny tip?
So now they all know the theme, right?
Storyteller.
And which I was like, when I saw that theme in the email from you, I'm like, this is going to be so amazing. I mean, all the stories that we all have to tell, just so many ways you can take this. It was so exciting to me. And then I'm like, what am I going to do for this? And I completely froze. Like, I was like a deer in the headlights. I just completely like, uh-oh. And I had to laugh at myself because I'm like, really? Really? Because would the story be good enough? Would it be, is it going to, I'm like, oh, is it going to be, and I mean, I just was so in my head, and I decided, you know what? That's what they need to see. And so in mine, I just show you what I do when I get to that point where you're just really deer in the headlights on it, and what I do to get unstuck and that kind of thing. And it was, I mean, it was a lot of fun to do. And because maybe this is going to happen to some of the other people watching this, is where you're just like, that's great. Now what?
I loved it. And then, I definitely, now I want to, try it. I can't tell you what it is. So, but I will be playing along later when I have everything set up, and I can't wait to share. I think it's an amazing video, and it's a great way to, show people to have a creative jumpstart, so to speak.
And it's using whatever you already have.
Right.
I really believe that what you already have around you is what you need. It's just how to get in touch with it, how to let that walk you through letting that story out. And when I started, it was not, I'm like, well, that's where the story, okay. And I had no idea where it was going to go. But I'll leave it at that, and they can see it when they watch Creative Jumpstart.
That's awesome. I also asked you to gather something that you usually have around and tell us a little story about it. What is it? What is it?
So it's related to this, which I kind of chuckled. I'm like, oh, that's because So what it is it's a doll, and she's designed to hold your toilet paper.
Oh my goodness. That is so funny.
I've got 3 of them, and I actually put art supplies in their hands a lot of the time, so they'll sit there and hold stuff like that. But this is a memory really of my mom, because she was good friends with an artist named Judy Anderson, and she made these when they were selling at craft fair type stuff, and they were working, and so these were some of Mom's favorites, and so I just kind of keep them around in the studio as just a reminder of Mom, and some of those kind of touchstones for that kind of stuff.
Can you hold it a little bit bigger? I want to see the whole thing.
Oh, sure.
Oh, so it doesn't have I see.
No.
That is so cool.
Because it's designed to go on top of like your toilet tank.
That is so
and
funny.
Hold your spare roll of toilet paper. Well, that was the artist's intention.
Right.
And I've lately, toilet paper has been such a big thing in 2020 for us this year. That's part of why I started playing around with it. I did gel printing with toilet paper.
Yeah.
It's great for that. So toilet paper's been a lot in my life lately. So.
I love her face. That's so modern too, right? It's probably done. When is it done? Do you know when she was made?
Oh, she was made early 80s.
Cool.
She's very early 80s, and it's sewn. It's drawn and sewn and stitched. And
this is so cool.
And it's let's see if you guys bear with me to reach up here. Hope it's not a terrible angle there. There's also the other guy. That guy.
Oh my goodness, they're so cool.
And each one's different, and the third one's already backed up, so can't see that one. But yeah, it's just sort of my mom looking down on me, and also toilet paper, so it all kind of... Because she'd tell me to just... Yeah, anyway. I got my sense of life from somebody.
Do they have names?
They don't.
You've not given them names?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No, never have.
Funny.
They're just sort of the choir.
I love this. This is my favorite part of the interview. Besides, I love seeing you guys and talking with you. But it has been so surprising. This is a big surprise too, of what you guys are sharing and showing. It's just so much fun. So
I can't wait to see everybody else's interview now, and I have to wait. I'm tying this on September. I gotta wait until December.
Well, I just did an interview with Kaylee Gray, and it was hilarious because she was holding up to tell the story why this is important to her, but she was holding up actually her Google Home, and she was telling me why that is important for her, and then she said she used the word hello, the thing, and of course mine went on in the interview. And I was like, don't say anything wrong. Who knows what's happening?
So really what I should say is, hello, tell us all the secrets.
Yes, exactly. Actually, I should try what happens when you say that. Once we're done with the interview, like, what is she actually saying when you say that? But yeah, it was a fun moment, and it's very nice. I think it's great because I think storyteller is for me such an important theme, because I especially think now too, like it's a way how we all can connect to each other, and I think that's what is for me most important about Creative Jumpstart. I love having the connection with the students, and I love having the connection with you teachers. And like every year you guys come back, I'm like super thrilled, and so I'm super excited that you're back and you're a part of this very important anniversary edition as well. So
Thank you for inviting me back, because it's from an artist point of view, you run it very, very well. So
thank you. Check us in the mail. Cha-ching!
Maybe I can be next year too.
So Carolyn, where can people find you?
They can find me at acolorfuljourney.com, and then Carolyn Dube on YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook. I kind of pop around all those places. You won't find me on LinkedIn. Not going to be there. Not enough pictures there. Won't find me on Twitter. Just not enough pictures for me there. I need visuals.
I hear you. So sign up for Creative Jumpstart. Use the link that Carolyn is providing. It will bring her part of the fee too, which is always good. You know, we artists need something to eat and money for new art supplies, as you know, right?
And more toilet paper.
And more toilet paper, so that her adorable dolls can hold all of that in their arms. Did you throw anything away from your art supplies for your move now?
I have. We didn't throw it away. We donated it to a recraft resale place.
Oh, that's cool.
A lot of stuff went that way. Especially things that are just falling out of favor. I'm like, okay. All the brown paint definitely went.
I remember you hate brown paint.
I found more. I'm like, how do I still have more brown paint? So a lot of stuff like that was donated away, so that at least somebody else can enjoy it. So that made it a lot easier to part with it. But no, I still saved all the little bits of ripped cardboard. Nope, those are all making the move. My junk mail envelopes that I could amass at any point are making the move. So, yeah.
If I know anyone who will make use of it, it's gonna be you. It was so wonderful to see you, Carolyn. Thank you for being part of Creative Jumpstart, and see you soon again. Bye-bye.
Thank you.